Hi everyone, welcome to Rocket Rose Art. My name is Jeff. In this video I'm going to show you how I find cool spots in a kiln. But before I go on, I hope you all had a good Christmas. I tried to get another video out before Christmas, but unfortunately I didn't. So I didn't get that opportunity to wish you a Merry Christmas. And while I'm at it, I'll also wish you a Happy New Year and hope everything works out for you in the next year. Now, this video is really just about finding those cool spots in your kiln and seeing if you can fix them. Why are they important? They're important because if you're filling a kiln, say with cabochons or something like that, the pieces that are in the corner of your kiln may not fuse as you would expect. So it is important to find where those cool spots are. Now, why do they happen? They happen for many reasons. It can be just the shape of your kiln. If you've got a square kiln, the corners are most likely cool spots. Round kiln won't have this problem. Another issue may be the elements. You may have a kiln that has elements in the lid, or you may have a kiln that has elements in the sides, or both. In all cases, they can determine where you may have cool spots. Now, the condition of your elements is also another factor. If your elements are not sitting in their grooves properly, or sagging, or you've got a mix of new and old elements, new elements will most likely fire hotter than old elements. Another issue can be things like peepholes or vent holes or windows in your kiln. Some kilns have the ability to place beads in them on mandrels so that the beads can anneal. Those little doors are also a place where you can get cool spots. Also, the condition of your kiln. If you've got kiln bricks that are broken or cracked or have pieces out of them, these also can create cool spots in your kiln. Another is the way the lid fits. The lid isn't fitting as well as it could. This also will create cool spots in your kiln. Another thing that may cause cool spots is the positioning of pieces in a kiln. If you're firing multiple pieces at once, one piece may cause a radiant shadow on another piece. What I mean by that is if, for example, if your kiln has side elements and you place one piece close to the side and another piece more in the centre, so that this piece on the side is creating a shadow over the centrepiece, that can also create a cool spot. Another thing is if you're putting multiple shelves in, so you're stacking shelves one on the other, that will always create cool spots on the bottom shelves, even if you have side elements. The last thing that I think I need to mention as far as what can make cool spots is your firing schedule. If you're firing things really fast, some areas may lag behind and not heat as quick, so that by the time you get to your processing temperatures, they're simply not as hot as other areas and your processing will not be as uniform. So you can see there are many reasons why you may have cool spots in your kiln and why it can be important to find these if you can. Now, some of these things you can fix. You can fix things like the condition of your kiln, your elements, your bricks, your kiln bricks. You can change the positioning of items inside. But some things you can't fix. You can't change the shape of your kiln. You can't change the positioning of the elements, obviously. So some things can be fixed, some things can't be fixed. So what I'm going to show you today is a method that I've used to find cool spots in my kiln. It's not hard, it doesn't need any special equipment. All you need is a bit of scrap glass. You can also use this if you regularly fire on multiple shelves, so you can see how that affects your firing. Now, the idea here is to fuse some pieces of glass, all the same colour, all the same size, that are spread over your shelf so that it highlights where on that shelf you may have cool spots. You can see in this picture here that I've cut some pieces of white opal and positioned them around the shelf. I'll now put this in the kiln and I will fuse it up to the point where I think the middle piece is starting to round off nicely. I don't want to take it up to a full fuse and hold it there, because all that will do is fuse everything fully and everything will round off and I won't be able to see the differences. So it's important as you're doing this, keep an eye on your kiln and keep an eye on that centerpiece, and when you think it is rounded off, it doesn't have to round off to a full circle, but when you think the sides have rounded off well and it is starting to dome on the top, that's the point where you should turn it off. Now, I haven't given you a schedule for this because I don't really think it's necessary. Just ramp your kiln up as fast as it'll go. Take it up to something like 760, 770 C, that is, and then have a look at that centerpiece and see if it has rounded off. So keep monitoring it until that centerpiece is rounded off so it's starting to form a dome. So I'll put these in the kiln and then we'll have a look at the results. So the test is complete, it's all been fused, but I think you're going to have a little trouble seeing the difference in my kiln, but I'll try and show you. So in this piece, which is up in the top left corner, you can see that the piece is rounded around the edges, but it is still concave on the top. It hasn't started to form a dome. And you'll see that in a few other pieces here that are around the edges of the kiln. But you can see these pieces that were in the center, and in particular the very central piece, you can see has rounded a lot more on the sides and is now starting to form a dome. So you can see that in my kiln, which is rectangular, or I should say square, it does have slight cool spots in the corners. In this final picture, with the pieces side by side, the difference is much more noticeable. If you suspect that you have cool spots in your kiln, give this a go and hopefully it'll help you understand where they are. And that is important, because if you're like me and I do fuse a lot of very small cabs, and I used to fill the shelf up to do that, I always found that in the corners they never rounded over quite as much as the others did. And if I held it long enough, they would round, but the ones in the middle become little balls. So I hope this helps you, and hopefully you can find those cool spots. Don't forget, if you've got other questions or you would like to make some comments, or please, if you want to see something in particular in a video, put it in the comments and I will answer you. Have a good new year, stay safe, and hopefully next year will be a bit better than the last one. And until the next video, I'll say bye for now.